let's go ahead and make this here the thing.
Rhymes Arcade, Rhymes Arcade, where the games get played and the games get saved so they can be played on another day. Rhymes Arcade.
Hey, Josh, Kimberly, what's up, guys?
Okay, it's
Louie,
open.
welcome back, buddy.
Good to see you.
Hey, Vanessa, what is up, everybody? Is this the jukebox? Oh, this is the jukebox. Can I change the music? No way. That's so cool. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Now we're talking. All right. Mm, mm, mm. All right, guys. Welcome back to Rob's Arcade here. Let's go ahead, grab us a little spot here, sit down, and catch up just a little bit here. Thank you so much for tuning in this afternoon and hanging out for a little bit. Hopefully, you guys had a great weekend and are enjoying your day so far. It is, in fact, uh, Monday here, February 23rd. It's crazy to think we're like just days away from the end of the month. It's so wild. Um, Hopefully, you guys have had a good month. It's been a lot going on, I feel like, in the month of February for it being the shorter of the months. Had some cool Friday the 13th stuff, and of course, we had Valentine's Day. It's just been a lot of fun hanging out. Uh, got some Fortnite in on President's Day. I don't know, just a lot of days off of school, a lot of going on. Uh, but yeah, I just wanted to, like I said, pop in here, hang out. It's one of my favorite things to chill out here. GTA. I wonder how much longer though I'm going to be able to do this on this format. I know as we go into the spring of 26, I think PlayStation is going to stop like formatting the PS4 games and updating and all of that. So I don't even know that my system will support this going forward. If it'll just even be an online option anymore for GTA um, on the PS4 version. So I might pop in and do something like this on the 5, but it's not going to look the same. It's not going to be the same. It might be a little different. Um, 'Cause at any rate, I did want to like just kind of catch up with you guys. Last week was a busy week. In fact, sometimes I have videos to post, and it's like I just get home from work or get caught up doing stuff. It's just like, man, I don't even have time to really sit back and post videos. But uh, I did want to take a time to kind of hop in. Last week, man, I feel like I had a bunch of days that were just like 12-hour days, no breaks. And I had a staff meeting this weekend, and I put a lot of work and prep into that. So it was just a week of like a lot of long days and a lot of planning, even at home, making sure things were ready to go. And it was interesting in putting this meeting together. I kind of found myself like channeling some of the same uh, skills, and even went back and grabbed my old planner from from the teen club whenever we saw all the teen programming, and really kind of poured what I learned from that into this meeting. And it seemed like it turned out uh, pretty well. But I mean, it was some late nights, last minute updates, doing a PowerPoint, trying to get everything just right. But it was really cool. It was a lot of fun. And I had a lot of fun working with some of my supervisors, trying to make sure, what I was putting together was going to be relevant. Listening to the feedback of my staff and trying to see like what What do they have issues with? What can I put in the meeting that would kind of help like shed some light? And actually, I popped in today for a little bit, which I'll talk about that here in a second. But I popped in today for a little bit and actually had one of my staff, talk about that. And was like, man, I really appreciate your meeting yesterday. It was like, he could tell. He said there was like a clear like channel. I think is what he said that he could see I was trying to take and trying to keep on. And it was a theme to the meeting, and there was like an overall idea of what I was trying to push. But he said exactly what I was hoping to convey, which is we might not, like, not everything I put in my meeting is my personal opinion, but I want a consistent thing. I want everything to be the same. And, he was really appreciative of that. And I was even saying, I was like, if one person shows up and gets something like that out of the meeting, I feel like I did a good job. And, and there was a Star Wars quote at the beginning, and he was the only one who knew excuse me, who Lando Calrissian was. So extra points for that. But I wanted to make sure it was good. In fact, I found myself even getting a little nervous, like making sure, like, literally like walking around the house, rehearsing what I was going to say. And oh gosh, I wish I could show you the agenda. My supervisor sent me an agenda. She like helped me kind of craft what this thing would look like. And she sent me this agenda, and I was like literally like printing this thing out and saying like, oh, how much I love this person to another like fellow employee. And they're like, oh, that's awesome. And then I started like looking at these sheets, and I was like, oh my god, is this front and back? It was like two sheets of bullet points, like front and back. And I was like, okay, well, I did like her. Like, this is a lot, but it was interesting. I was able to like kind of like color code it, highlight it, do different things. I literally have like a frog in my throat. I keep feeling it pop up. But I was able to like color code it, go through it, highlight different pieces, and really put together like a PowerPoint that really flowed with everything that I like really wanted to try to include in this little meeting. Um, and then, like I said, kind of like open it and close it with the Star Wars quote. But it turned out, I think, really well. Everybody seemed to enjoy it. Had a nice little speech prepared for everybody, and then it was, getting home and then jumping right back into that next planning piece. We had a gentleman who pops in quite often, and he's been wanting to do a podcast. And so I was able to actually hang out with him today. And after like about a year of trying to um, like get with this guy and put something down, finally today I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just get in the studio. Let's just put something down. And you know, the thing is, like, we've been trying to do a podcast, and then it's just like, where do we where do we put this thing? How do we do it? Um, where does it go? Just all these little different pieces, like trying to figure this out. And I kind of realized, again, I guess we're going to go back to Star Wars a little bit. Uh, I talk about Star Wars a lot, but when Lucas was making that film, he kind of knew that there was something that was going to be hard to translate, right? Like, he knew that he had this vision of what like a Wookiee might be and what like the Millennium Falcon might look like, but he wasn't sure like how do I translate that to the average person, and so he hired. Oh no, lose my headset. He hired. Um, Give me a second here. A concept artist to do these illustrations of what he was trying to So just like as low as the camera goes. Um, that would like, you know, try to give the audience, or not even the audience, but like how I can think of it, the filmmakers, the producers, the backers, an idea of what he was trying to make, because he realized, okay, I'm making something that's never been done before. How do I explain this and show them like what does an R2D2 even look like? And so when thinking about that, I was thinking like to myself, like that's kind of what we need to do. We need to just kind of come up with something short, throw something together. And it's like, you want to do a podcast about what we do here, just have some genuine conversations. Let's pitch this. Let's talk about it because we sit down in the office and we talk about it all the time. Like, you know, what can this look like? What can this be? And in those conversations, as we're sitting there and kind of like hashing this out and trying to figure out, okay, what could this podcast be? I'm like, this is the podcast. Like us just sitting here talking about it, trying to figure it out, kind of is the podcast. So I was like, let's just sneak over there real quick. Let's just do something. Let's just put it on the books and see if, you know, we can't make something happen. So this was kind of like the idea today. We go and we do a pilot, kind of like, yeah, like, a pilot for a TV show, um, to see if it's something worth picking up. And it was really cool. Like we got in there for about, I don't know, 30 minutes or so, did a nice little 15-minute podcast, just kind of talked about a few things. And just a really cool way to start my day. And what was really interesting was like how easily it flowed and how, sometimes it's one of those things where you figure at some point you'll find your voice and find that niche and kind of hit your groove. Um, I've done a few other podcasts, and that's kind of typically been the formula for that, right? Like you do about two or three, typically about the fourth or fifth time, you start to get a groove going, you start to find that stride. But it takes a little while, and I think because me and this guy have had so many conversations and sat down, when we got down to it today, it really did feel like just two friends kind of hanging out and talking a little bit. And when we sat back and actually listened to it, when we were all done, it was like, God, man, it sounds like we've been doing this for years. It just had this fluidity to it, this like just fluidity to it. Yeah, and naturalness. It was really cool. And then I took some notes. It was really interesting. Like I spent my week planning for this meeting, got that done, got home, ate some pizza, and then literally it's like let's jump back into this next thing. And I wanted to have some structure and some content for this because again, like in some of these conversations we have, it's almost like this is it. This is the show. But it's different just to have two guys sitting around just talking. How do we direct that somewhere and kind of show them what this could be? So, I did do some notes. I did jot a few things down to try to give it some direction, but we didn't stick to it like one, two, three, four. It was just a nice little guide. But it was really natural just how it flowed. Like we would talk about something, and he might mention an idea that would trigger something that I've encountered. You know, I might bounce off of something that he mentions, share a little piece of my story, a little piece of my whatever, and then that's only going to then make him think, well, okay, well, exactly. And then this is, it was really cool. So I haven't had a chance to listen to the whole 15-minute podcast that we did, but um, I'm excited to. I really am. And I think, it's definitely going to be the start of something really cool. And then if anything else, it's just, I think this might just be a start of even just a spot for any and everybody to pop in there with me for 10, 15 minutes at a time and just kind of talk and kind of like maybe member testimonials, if you will. Like, hey, I'm Robert. This is so and so, and we're gonna talk today here at the YMCA and yada yada yada. Although I did almost get busted by my supervisors. They were coming in. They were sneaking into the we have like a tech classroom as well right next to the studio, and they were sneaking into that little office to have a meeting and almost got busted because I'm trying to do this low key. Like, this isn't like I'm trying to sneak around and do this without anybody knowing. But it's one of those things where it's like, hey, can I do this? They'll be like, well, let's talk to so and so and let's get so and so involved and you know, um, let's do this. Oh, I need to write that down. Jurassic Park quote. Hmm. I don't know how I'm gonna find that though, because I don't know if I have Netflix anymore that's active, and I need to watch the movies that made us. Huh. The guy who basically created the dinosaurs for um, Jurassic Park. He was told time and time again, like, no, we're not going to do this, and we're going to do that, yada yada yada. And I think it was a matter of, all right, we're going to use computers to enhance the the movie, but we're not going to solely rely on special effects to, carry the film, if you will. And it was this guy, I'm trying to find his name right now, who decided, like, no, we need to, like, we can essentially, he's got like a crazy nickname. I don't know if I'll be able to find it. I think I know him by his nickname and not his actual credit name. I'm hoping they'll have it like in parentheses. Um, but he said, yeah, like we can do this. And they kept telling him, no, no, we're not going to do this, blah, 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 blah. And there was a walkthrough one day. And he said, heck with them. I'm just going to put this thing up on my computer and let them see it, right? And so basically what he did was he created a walk cycle for a T-Rex and just left it up on his computer almost like a screensaver, just running. And when the producers came through and saw this, they were like, what is that? And that was, oh, you mean this little thing here? And that was the start of um, special effects and visual effects taking over the model making of Jurassic Park. I think he was in fact fired and rehired from um, what's the company called? Lucas um, Industrial Lights and Magic. I think he was fired from them several times, like rehired at least a couple or something like that. But the point is, like, sometimes you just got to jump in, like, you know. And again, like I've been talking with this guy for about a year trying to figure this out, and some of it's been that, like, talking to some of my higher ups and going like, yeah, we want to do this. And they were like, blah, 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 blah. I don't know. We'll see. It's just like, man, nah, we're just going to do it. And so it was a lot of fun. Like I said, it was just crazy to think today um, that it was just like a run through. I can't find this guy's name. And it felt like I said, we've been doing it. I'm actually like thinking if this doesn't work out, I might just say, hey, we should just do this. It's like me and this older black gentleman, and he is just absolutely. He's got some cool stories. He's retired. Like I said, I've always just enjoyed talking with him. And like I said, every conversation we've had leading up to this has been like, oh man, this could be the oh, Steve. This Williams, of course, it's Steve. Why would this name not be Steve? Yeah, Steve Williams named Spaz. His name was Spaz, and that gentleman fought and fought and fought and said, no, look, we don't have to just enhance this movie with special effects. We can use special effects to carry this film. And they were like, no, we don't think so. And so finally he just said, forget it. I'm just going to go ahead and do it. So that's kind of what today was, and kind of what inspired me to get in there today. And it was one of the things, like I mentioned in my meeting, like I think everybody wakes up all the time, like, screaming into the pillow. This is what I said in my meeting. I think everybody wakes up in the morning screaming in their pillow that the world will end, or at least wishing for like another 5 minutes of sleep. I was like, as much as I love my job, I'm guilty of that too. But I do enjoy what I do. I do love what I do. Um, and that, as soon as I remember, like, not only what I get to do, but who I get to work with and the people that I get to work alongside, I get jazzed, man. And I really do. I jump up and I can't wait to get my day started. In fact, it was hard not to get up too early this morning. In fact, the first time I got up was about 5:30, and was up till almost like 7 o'clock before I was finally able to go back to bed. Um, but it was really cool. Like I said, I was excited just at the start of the day at the idea of getting in there and doing this. It was like the highlight of my day. It really was. So I popped into work today just to kind of clean up for the meeting and do a few things. And everybody's like, "Why are you here?" It's like I love what I do. It's awesome. Um, but yeah, it was just really, just a really awesome um, day off. And again, just another layer and another example of how lucky I am to get to do what I do, um, and get to hang out with the people that I get to hang out with. I think about that all the time, man. It's just so interesting, like just where I was a few years ago and where I am now with, and, I've talked about too, like how it's different with what I did with teens and what I'm doing now. And I don't know, man, it's different, sometimes when I was doing the teen thing, I could walk away that day and see exactly what my impact had. And with the membership thing, it's not always so clear cut. But the more time I spend in it, the more time I realize, like, wow, it's so many different. It's like I was making it different with youth before, and I still am able to have that piece of that job. But um, to be able to have a staff, to have a meeting, to do all these cool things with them, to hang out with them, to provide, to try to get them to a better place, and then to turn around the very next day and hop into the podcast studio with this old retired gentleman that just has been wanting to, share his stories, and it's just been it's cool, man. You can't really uh, ask for much more than that. And then when I'm done with this, I'm gonna try to get this uploaded and go play some go play some Fortnite and try to unwind and actually relax, because this last week was go busy. Guys, like it's so funny. It's those days where I was like, yeah, maybe I'll get out early. Maybe I'll try to get out like a half hour early, an hour early. And those are the days I wound up staying till about 12 o'clock. But there was one day last week where I did wind up staying pretty late, and it was funny because we were having there's like a team meeting, and we have to do kind of like program checks and stuff. So I was doing one of those, and you know, pull up to the meeting, as they say, and they got so excited I was there, and they wanted to know if I was going to be doing all the games and all that stuff. Like, of course, I'll hang out for a little bit and see what you guys are up to. And then I was going to get out of there about 7:30, and one of them was like, I kind of need to talk to you. I was like, all right. I was like, well, do you want to talk now or after the meeting? And they were like, well, maybe after the meeting. And then before the meeting even ended, they were like, well, can I talk to you? And I was like, yeah. and they were all upset and they're crying. We stepped into my office, and it was really interesting. Like, this young lady's got several people within the club she can talk to and friends and all of that. But she sought me out because I was there that evening. And gosh, I mean, after talking with her and then going back and talking with um, my old counterpart from club and just trying to fill them in on what's going on with her, it was like 8:30 before I got home, and I realized like, man, I've been out of the house for 12 hours. But it was worth it. It was like, not only did I get a good day in and get those little, program checks done, but then I was also able to, pull up and hang out with the kids, but then be there for her. And I kept thinking about that when I got home. Like, I don't know that she would have been able to share that with anybody else, or if she would have shared that with anybody else, or maybe how long she would have held on to that, um, or maybe vented that in the wrong space, or so. It's just, I don't know. I got home and I was just like, man, I was so happy to have stayed and worked a 12-hour day. Um, and then, yeah, get a little Buffy and Angel and Supernatural in or whatever, and just kind of chill out and gear up for the next day. I'm gonna get out of here, gear up for the next video. At any rate, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Make sure you leave some comments down below when you're smashing that like and share button. I want to know what you guys are up to. Anyway, thanks again, you guys. Make sure you take care of yourself, take care of each other, and until next time, don't spend that quarter anywhere else.